Every bit of the world of Banjo Kazooie is filled with little details that make this game the cream of the crop. We've explored this game so much on my channel. What else could there possibly be to see or theorize about? The answer? Plenty. Let's get weird as we explore Banjo Kazooie yet again. This is More Mysteries of Banjo Kazooie. Humba Wumba in Kazooie? Yes, you heard that right. Humba Wumba, the transformation specialist first introduced in Banjo-Tooie, was actually mentioned in the original game. It's something that can be hard to encounter, but it does indeed show up. In Grunty's Furnace Fund, there's a question posed with the typical 3 multiple choice answers, and one of the incorrect answers is Humba Wumba, the shaman. The likely answer as to why it's there is probably Rare really liked this name and repurposed it. But the fun answer would be, since Humba and Mumbo have a rivalry going on, it's safe to suggest that they've known each other for a long time, and since we know Mumbo and Grunty had a student-teacher relationship, it stands to reason that all of these magic users in the world of Banjo are networked together in some way. I wonder who the original magic caster is in the world of Banjo-Kazooie. Master Jiggy perhaps? Bottles picture. Bottles and Banjo officially meet for the first time right outside Banjo's house after Tootie gets kidnapped. But if this is their first time meeting, why does Banjo have a picture of Bottles in his house? And it's also a secret minigame challenge mode. It doesn't really make any sense to have a random photo of someone in your house, unless, as seen in shops like Pawno and Banjo-Tooie, you can buy things like pictures of people as seen with Gruntilda. Did Banjo and Kazooie randomly pick this picture up along with a few others, and it just so happened to be a photo of this certain mole? I'm gonna run with it, but it also seems like something Bottles set up since it's his secret challenge. Maybe he gave a picture to Tootie and she put it up there and it was all so Bottles could have her play his silly little game. Banjo just discovered it and played the game for himself. Gruntilda Doll. Growing up when I did, there was plenty of media out there that would give me a natural distrust of dolls. Not to mention my grandmother made homemade dolls, and the guest room in her house that we stayed in was filled to the brim with dolls, and it was enough to make anyone fear them, let alone a young kid. Just them aimlessly staring at you through the whole night. But childhood trauma aside, seeing this doll immediately makes me question whether it's alive, and then it starts moving. Yes, it's a living doll. Why is this doll alive? Is it a doll at all? Is there something inside of it? What are its ambitions and goals? Clearly it wants us to take it home as a prize. Heck no. And it even tries again in Tooie. Nice try, evil witch doll, but I'm not falling for it. Salty Hippo on land. Treasure Trove Cove is one of my favorite levels of all time. It's bright, vibrant, colorful, and has the most boppin' tune. One of the jiggies we can get is by helping out our old pal Captain Blubber, who's crying over his gold he lost, which is simply in his ship. But what I'm here to question is, how did the ship get to the spot on Treasure Trove Cove that it's in? If we take a bird's eye perspective, we can see that it's beached in the middle of the island. Granted, there's water on one side of it, but the way the sand is piled up behind and in front suggests it came from this angle, not from this way. So how did he manage to beach this? And on top of this, he has no sails, and we can assume the front and some of the back of the boat are under the sand. I actually think it's not due to Blubber that this is stranded on land. If we look throughout the level, we have several sections of the world with little pools of water in them, and the most telling is this pathway with stairs leading up to the lighthouse. I think this world's water level used to be a lot higher, and it's actually just lowered for whatever reason. Perhaps when Banjo unlocks the world, the magic causes the island to rise, much like how when we do Stop and Swap, Shark Food Island rises. Don't forget, we even drain the water for the sandcastle, so clearly that's something that happens in this particular world. I think Blubber was sailing around the area looking for treasure and the water level just quickly went down, and due to his momentum he hit the ground and it dug in a bit, which would explain why the ship is laid out on the island the way it is. The other map. In the level Rusty Bucket Bay, when we reach the navigation room we can see 2 maps. One is actually a map of Treasure Trove Cove with an X marking the location of Shark Food Island where the Stop and Swap egg is located. But the other map? What could this be for? There's lots of speculation as to what it is. Perhaps it's an early rendition of the Isle o' Hags. Maybe a scrapped level from Banjo Kazooie? I looked into levels that originally started out as a Kazooie level, but made their way into other games. For 2E, Witchy World, Glitter Gulch Mine, and Hailfire Peaks all started out in Kazooie and were repurposed. And there's even one in DK64, which is Fungi Forest. But none of these levels, when zooming out on them and looking from above, line up with this map. Perhaps this could be a layout of multiple islands from different games? Let me know if you have any theories in the comments below. And if you haven't, go check out my Mapping the Rare Universe video, because it's all about mapping the rare islands. Water Room Smile. In Gobi's Valley, there's a room we need to access to drain the water out of it to collect a Jiggy. In this room, we swim from the top down to the bottom, with a couple of mummies running around. There's a particular formation of rocks that form a smiley face. This is a fun little detail in this level I never see mentioned. It certainly got me smiling. Those mummies must have a sense of humor. Gigantified Church? I never see it questioned, but in Mad Monster Mansion, after exploring a bit, we find the church. And we have a few things to get on the outside, like climbing up and grabbing a Jiggy, and at some point we flip a switch and race to get inside, but when we do, you'll find everything inside is gigantified, or at least, we're shrunk down. Since all the items in the church are still the same size, and including the enemies, except for this ghost, I think we have actually retained our size and things in this room are just magically altered. The dead giveaway is the open door we just walked in is about the same size on the outside as in. But the stained glass window that was normal on the outside is now gigantified in here. Perhaps that organ has magical properties with the songs it plays to alter the size of the room? Or, more likely, Motsan himself has some magical ghostly abilities to change his size and stature of things. We do see other ghosts that vary in size, so maybe it's an ability of Ghost and Motsan uses the organ music to harness that ability. Perhaps the sheet music, which is actually the score of the music playing in the church by the way, are Cheeto spell pages, and Motsan can make use of them. Mumbo's tired. Ever wonder why Mumbo needs those tokens? We know that he can perform magic without them, just like Grunty. I think we have a few clues why Mumbo needs these. They're filled with magical energy, and there's good reason why Mumbo needs extra energy. You know how his skull is in virtually every level, and it doesn't matter when or where you enter into it, Mumbo is always there, with the exception of one time Mumbo stated to be away on vacation. What if his skull uses magic like a portal? So the inside where Mumbo lives is actually one specific skull, and each skull in the level is just a portal to that specific one. Probably the one on Mumbo's mountain if I had to guess. There's one time Mumbo isn't in his skull and we're told he's on vacation. And we do see one instance of that aside from the end credits, where Mumbo's in the coffin room outside the entrance to Mad Monster Mansion, the only place we interact with him not in his skull during gameplay. I think that's the time he was on vacation. He was trying to hide away and stop being woken up. Mumbo is using magic constantly to keep these skull portals active and transform us on top of that. It has gotta be exhausting, which is why he's always sleeping. The Mumbo tokens help replenish his magic, which is why he needs them. Think of them like energy drinks for shamans. He technically has magic power always, but to perform transformation magic and to keep his skull portals active, he needs a bit more juice. Just because he's exhausted. Poor Mumbo. Well, that's all I have for you. Be sure to drop a like in this video to help support my content and subscribe so you don't miss a future upload. And check out my other Banjo and Rare videos. There's plenty more where this came from. Until next time, have a good one. Jiggylookback!
Hippo come.